Let's talk about schooling, because this is something I see you, like I see you, you're a builder, you're a family man, you've got a wife, you've got a kid now. I mean, you're ripped, like you're working out, like you're a good looking dude, all this stuff. And then I find out you were a DJ.
Yeah.
And so tell me the background of that and how you got into that.
Yeah. I mean, went to high school and just public high school, graduated there, and just got right into the workforce at that point. But music was always a passion of mine, and I got into electronic dance music, and that was a passion of mine. And I was like, I want to delve into how to make it, and how to produce it, and then play it for people and actually be the guy up there. And so I decided to I played around with it in my living room type thing. I was like, man, this is some technical stuff. And like Mallory was talking about that earlier, like it's very technical to make that. And you got to learn software and hardware and, get into music theory and all this stuff. So I was like, wow, this is way over my head. I don't have a mentor. I'm just going to go to school for it. So I went to Salt Lake for 6 months and just learned it. And half of it was basically learning music production, and half of it was learning sound design. And sound design is, making the sounds within the music. And so those kind of go hand in hand. And then you can go whatever direction you want with that. You can become more of like technical side where you're backstage, kind of like what Mallory does, where you can get into learning instruments, making music, producing music, and then DJing it, performing it live. But all three of those things can be separate too. There's people that just produce. There's people that just DJ. But the fun part of it is to perform, right?
Okay. Not for me, but sure.
Yeah, exactly. Mallory's the type that likes to, be the tech,
right
behind the scenes. And
I can't even talk her into coming on an episode.
Yeah, exactly.
She's been a part of 103 of them.
Yeah. So performing was the fun part for me. So definitely got more into that side of it. While I was up there, played in Salt Lake at a few venues, and then moved back here. I was dating Ashley at the time.
Okay.
And, that was hard to do long distance. She wasn't a big fan of it, obviously. So came back here. That's pretty much when I got into being a builder. I knew a bunch of trades just growing up, and I got back and I had kind of a point in my life where I'm like, what am I going to do? I've got potential to be a DJ and go that route with my life. And I wanted to do that. But, Ashley was like, that's not the lifestyle I want to live. It's basically a modern Rockstar. You're exposed to a lot of temptation, a lot of, can go really south if you're not super disciplined. And at 23, it's like, how disciplined is anybody at 23 or 24, So, bless her heart for kind of helping me have that reality check. But the other side of that was more of my business brain kicked in. And I looked at how saturated the market was for DJs and producers, and dance music was blowing up at that point. And you had people like Skrillex and Deadmau5 that got into it at the beginning, and they became very wealthy and very well known pretty much out of the gate. But those days were long gone. You really had to grind, be different, have insane marketing, have money. It took all that to kind of get into that. And not to say you couldn't do it without all that stuff, but it would just be a 10-year process. And so I looked at it as, what can I do right now that's going to make a living and where I can have a future with Ashley, settle down, have a family eventually. And that was being a builder. So that's kind of the direction I went.
Okay.
And then DJ kind of just became, being a DJ or producer kind of just became a hobby.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So that it didn't take a back seat, I wouldn't say. It just became kind of a side hobby hustle.
Became something fun to do.
Yeah.
Which I think is important for everybody.
That's what I was going to say. That might have been a good move.
Yeah. And a lot of people they're like, you're a builder, and how do those two, just like you said, how do those worlds collide? And that's kind of how that panned out. But,
building's in your blood. So,
building's in my pedigree. So that was obviously I wouldn't say the easy decision, but it was the one that made the most sense.
Yeah.
And so, and I think it's, people say dream big, and I think that you should dream big. But I think that it's important for people to look in the mirror and say, what's logical?
Yeah.
what's my best option for success?
Well, I think that's the first step, and then dream big.
Right.
So figure out what avenue can take you there.
Yeah. And a lot of people just dream big, and they're dreamers.
Right.
And they never really break it down into simple steps and what's the most logical? What's my highest rate of success? So that's kind of why I went that direction, and here I am.
So how long have you been building then?
I mean, my first tool belt, I was 4. But,
well, I mean, like
professionally, I was a project manager for a couple of years, and then got my generals when I was 25, general contracting license when I was. I started getting it when I was 24, and then ended up getting it when I was 25.
Awesome.
And have just been a builder since. So.
And I guess we should mention what your company name is.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, Atlas Holmes.
So where'd that come from?
I'm big into Greek mythology.
Okay.
Greek, Roman, kind of a history guy. That's another one of my passions, and just what that stands for. Atlas, holding the world on his shoulders, building strong things. And it made sense. It has a good ring to it, and it's good for marketing.
Yeah,
so
I know. I love it. Your logo looks really good. Like, all of it does.
Yeah, the branding kind of just fit. I had a couple other options that I was looking into, and the branding just wasn't there. And everything in southern Utah is either Red Rock this or Intermountain. It's like I wanted to be different. I wanted to have a different name, so kind of went that direction.
Cool. Do you have like a DJ name? How does that work?
Just my name.
It's just your name.
Yeah. I've tried an alias at one point, but it's just, I don't know.
Just didn't really catch on.
It's a lot of it's just kind of annoying when you're trying to do flyers and, send your PNG file to a different promoter. And it's just like, just do my name in this font. Just
this is who I am.
Yeah.
Love it. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate things, right?
Yeah. And one thing you start to realize is like people recognize your name faster than your alias. And so like if I played in Salt Lake or whatever, people would see that on a flyer, I'd be like, oh, I know who that is. Like I'm going to go check that out. Or a lot more friends know that you're going to be playing there if they see your name versus your alias. Cause trying to remember that.
Sure.
So
well, let me back up. Let me back up more to some DJ stuff. So
yeah.
I was going to switch gears into building, but I'm not ready.
Okay.
So how long have you been doing the DJing stuff? Do you consider yourself like doing it professionally right now? I know you're kind of side gigging it, but you still do events, right?
Yeah, I do events, but it's, 3 or 4 a year.
Okay.
So it's just a hobby. Yeah.
Sure.
Like I said, I decided to kind of like let that be a hobby versus taking it, being a professional. So I get asked, I turn it down half the time.
Yeah,
because I'm just busy,
that's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah, I get asked to do a lot of gigs and it's like just doesn't pencil out, or I'm just too busy, or now I have a kid, it's like, do I want to be gone this whole weekend? And so yeah, it's more of just a hobby, and I do it when I can.
Yeah. How many have you done? How many events have you done?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, like hundreds, like 20,
no,
like
probably 30 or 40.
Okay.
Yeah, that I would consider an event.
Got you. I mean, it just looks so entertaining. Like I'm not at like a concert, mosh pit jumping up. Like I've been to a few concerts, and my wife would go down and like be a part of the crowd, and I'm just
She'd be throwing elbows, man.
I'd just be sitting up in the stands, like, yeah, come find me when you're done. You know, like we did when we were dating. I think it was Yellow Card came to
Fun.
SUU, and we went to that.
They went to Dixie too. I saw them at Dixie. That was fun. That was probably 11 or 12 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because we've been married just over 10, almost 11.
Yeah,
so.
And I loved punk rock growing up, so that was cool to like have them come to St. George.
Yeah.
And I've been to lots of punk rock concerts. I'm going to a festival this year of punk rock. So
are you?
Yeah, it's not. I don't watch just dance music. I'm pretty well versed as far as like, I still go to rock concerts. I still go to whatever, all over the place, country. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Did you guys do? Or you're going to Morgan Wallen?
We were going to go to Morgan Wallen. He actually canceled.
Okay, so were you part of that?
Stops. Yeah,
that's a bummer, man.
Yeah, that was crappy. Dude, his tickets, I could not believe how expensive his tickets were. I was baffled by that.
What venue?
It was
in
Austin, Texas, which was been awesome to go there and see him. So we were really pumped on it, and it was kind of. I made a deal with Ashley for her push present. I was like, I'll take you to whatever live music event you want to go to. That's when she picked, and I saw tickets. I was like, oh shit, what did I get myself into? So we ended up getting a refund for those and just bagging it, and we'll catch him another time. But I guess he's starting to have voice issues because he's overbooked.
Jason and Mike Mike got tickets for him in Phoenix, and it's like in a week or two.
Yeah.
And so now he's back on. So now they're going.
Yeah, I think he was trying to take like a 2-month break or something like that just to give his vocal cords a...
Yeah, that's a crazy thought that like that's a thing. Yeah. And like I can understand if you're like Screamo guy. I mean like the Used.
Yeah.
And so Bert, what's his last name? the lead singer of the Used. Anyway, the lead singer of the Used had that same issue.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
And we went and saw him in Salt Lake. Jason and I went and saw him in Salt Lake after it was right after COVID. They actually moved the venue outside, like right when COVID was kind of calming down. And we were all like, dude, how's he going to sing these songs? Like he can't scream. Like he can't.
Yeah. That's a tough touring is hard on you.
I would imagine.
It's hard on everybody in the band or in the group that you're with, but
and hell, the Used are like 40 something now.
I can imagine how used up his vocal cords are, but
like they might be 50.
Bert McCracken?
McCracken, that's what it is.
There
what a
you
last
go.
name, dude. That's awesome.
Well, he's a Utah kid.
You better have like octopus tattooed on over or something. That's a cool last name.
He grew up in Lehigh.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
And I don't know if like all the band members, I assume they all did too, but his parents lived next door to my aunt. And so
Interesting.
like,
I did not know that.
yeah. And so they lived up in Lehigh, or not, it's Highland is where they lived. And they don't have like fences and stuff around for most of the homes up there. They're just like your grass yard just feeds into that grass yard. And so
Easy to run from cops there, huh?
yeah, but you could just like look across the little backyard and it was like Bert's house, right?
That's
like he
awesome.
wasn't there a lot, but there was a couple times he was there. And I don't know, it's not like I knew him or met him or anything, but it was kind of cool.
That's
and so when we watched that Salt Lake one, he's like, you know, Utah, it's so good to be back. And I think he lives in Australia now. And so anyway, it was just for me, dude. So I said, like, I'm not a concert guy.
Yeah.
I loved that. So it was Coheed and the
Campion.
Used.
Yeah, that'd be killer.
And I didn't know the other band.
Was
it was
the
like,
amphitheater up there?
what's that?
Was it the amphitheater? The venue?
It was, Jason would know.
The complex, maybe.
Gallivan?
The complex.
Yeah,
Oh,
complex.
The complex.
Utah lacks good venues.
Yeah.
The amphitheater there's not bad, but that's a dream of mine is to do like some type of an outdoor venue here. You know, I've done during COVID, we did for a pretty well-known dance label called Anjuna Beats, but we did like an outdoor shuffle dance thing with Zion as the background.
Oh,
and
nice.
Did a cool 360 video. Had like a professional film crew from LA come out and film that, but it just got my entrepreneur juices going. I was like, man, because some of the best venues I've been to have been open air.
Okay.
You know, the Gorgian, Washington is a good example of that. Red Rocks in Colorado is another good example where you can kind of just be out in the middle of nowhere, not have sound issues, complaints, and have a cool backdrop
Yeah.
and do camping and whatever.